Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Funkeola Onikwekun. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Lead with Clarity. We're talking about 5 principles that you must learn as a young leader in order to navigate your leadership journey successfully. And I call them the 5 C's of leadership. The 5 C's of leadership: competence, courage, clarity, character, and coaching. These are the 5 basic principles that you must learn as a leader in order to be successful, to be effective in your leadership journey. Competence simply means leveraging on your strengths, identifying what you're really good at, and focusing on it. Spending your time, your energy, and resources, more of your time, energy, and resources on what your strengths are. Ability to identify what you are best at, and surrounding yourself with a team of people whose strengths reflect your own weakness. That is what you can't do. They are the things that they can do. That's leadership, coming together to achieve desired goals. The next one is courage. Somebody needs to initiate it. Somebody needs to start. Somebody needs to push the trigger. It's going to be you, the leader. Every other person is going to hang around and wait. Understand, as a leader, you must be courageous. The next one is clarity. Uncertainty will always be part of your leadership. In fact, uncertainty is what creates gaps for leadership. When everybody is sure, when we all know what to do, the next thing, we don't need anybody to take the lead. But this is what clarity does. Uncertainty creates gaps for leadership. And as a result, as a leader, you are going to bring in clarity. Uncertainty is never going to disappear. Understand that as a leader, you must understand the principle of clarity to step in per time. And character. You can lead people without good character, only that you will not be able to raise a generation that will live an impactful life. Only that after some time, people will find their way. You will look behind you only to realize that you are having a walk in the park because your followers are gone. So you need to understand the principle of character in your leadership journey. And coaching, which is the last C, talks about you understanding that you only know in part. You understanding that the fastest way to go faster in your leadership journey is to climb on the shoulder of people who have gone ahead of you. They have navigated uncertainty at different times. Climbing on their shoulders will help you to see into the future, and it will make your journey smooth. It will give you a landing pad. It will not only give you a focus and direction, it will also help you to lean in the experience, the knowledge, and the success of others, so that you don't have to spend your own time doing it with trial and error. Today, we focus on clarity, the principle of clarity for a young leader. You need clarity. You definitely need to be clear. You need clarity. Like I said, uncertainty is not planning to disappear. If everybody knows the next step, then there is no point of leadership. I want you to understand that uncertainty will always be part of your leadership. That's the number one thing to know when you talk about principle of clarity in leadership. Uncertainty will always be part of your leadership. So the goal is to learn to be clear even in the midst of uncertainty. The goal is not to eradicate uncertainty, because once you solve a problem, another one comes up and you make decisions, you put people in place, you put strategy, structure, and system to address that. Once you succeed in that, another level of success brings with you some level of uncertainty. Think about the last time you make a decision. How certain were you? What level of information do you have before you eventually jump into action? And because we can't leave uncertainty around without doing something about it, young leaders are often found living, allowing uncertainty, things that they are not sure of, to paralyze them. They feel overwhelmed. They looked around and like, if I do this, what if? What will happen? How do I know what next to do? What's going to happen? What can I do now? What if I do this? Oh, I don't have enough information. Understand that there will never be a point in time in your leadership where you will have 100% of information. At the best of it, you will seek counsel. At the best of it, you will look and analyze the best decision you think you can make, but you have to be clear. So today I'm going to show you how to maintain the principle of clarity such that you are not paralyzed with uncertainty, such that because you don't know what will happen next, you decided to leave everything. Because you have set goals for 2026, you have plans, you have bigger picture which you have set plan to achieve, but you're not even certain what is going to happen tomorrow. Nobody promises you that this is the exact thing that is going to go tomorrow. Things are going to happen. Rules, legislations, circumstances, even weather, things are going to change. Your ability to navigate this uncertainty, your ability to move ahead despite uncertainty, is what is going to distinguish you as an effective leader compared to others. Managing uncertainty. The first thing I want you to do in order for you to manage your uncertainty is to be clear. No pretense. Do not pretend. When you are leading a group of people, something is coming up, even yourself, don't pretend. This is what pretense do. Pretense keep you from getting the input of others, which will be useful for you to navigate that direction. Pretense also expose your insecurity to the people you're leading. Don't pretend. If you're faced with a challenge and you're uncertain about the next action to take, it's okay to say, I don't know what to do now, but I will find out. That's the growth mindset. That's the leader's mindset. That's the knowledge mindset. As a leader, you are not always going to have all the answer, and that is absolutely fine. Don't pretend that you know it all. You're faced with a challenge, you don't know how to work it out. Instead of you saying, I know it, it's just one of those things. It's not one of those things. Don't pretend. Pretense shuts you out from receiving inputs that will benefit you. It also, on the other hand, shows your insecurity. It shows people that you don't know. The funny thing is that people already know that you don't know. But in the process of pretending, they see you. They see the gap. There's one bad thing that pretense does to you. It makes you feel insecure. You lose your credibility when you try to cover up uncertainty. When you it you know it exposes lack of character. That's the word I'm looking for. It exposes lack of character. You're not credible. You're not trustworthy. There's something you don't. You are simply lying. There's something you don't know, but you're covering it up as if you know. So as a leader, it's okay to say, oh, I don't know this, but I will find out. It gives you credibility. It also promotes in your group members the knowledge to know that, okay, it is acceptable here if we don't know, but we will find out how to know. Once you create an environment where people cannot express what they don't know, people stop asking questions. And when we stop asking questions, we stop learning. Look at the group that you are managing now. Maybe you are a church leader, you have a group of young people you are managing in the music, you are the music director, and they are asking you, what are we going to do this year? We are falling short of this particular area. What can you do? The moment you say, oh, it's fine, I know everything we can do, they know you don't know it. So with them, you lose credibility. The next time they will not ask you a question. They will say, even if we ask him now, he will say he knows it, even when he doesn't know. If you are a parent, that's also applicable to you. Your children run to you, they ask you a question. Don't say you know everything. There is no way you can know everything, especially with children that are growing up these days. They have more information than you do. Sometimes they know. They just want to come and question your own curiosity and your own level of knowledge. And by the time you start bragging to say you know, they might not be able to confront you, but you have created an impression in them that you are not trustworthy, that you are not a person of good character. So it's okay to say, I don't know, and I will find out. That's the first thing you should do when you are facing an uncertainty. Don't allow uncertainty to paralyze you. Instead, acknowledge that you don't know, but you are ready to know. You are ready to learn. You are ready to counsel. You are open to counsel. You are ready to information that will be beneficial in solving the problem. You can say, I don't know right now, but when the time comes to do something about it, I'm confident we will have an answer. You can say, I don't know right now, but I'm confident we can figure it out together. You can say, I haven't done this before, but I think we are up to the challenge. It does not only help your group to know that they have a sense of inclusion, it's also make them know that it's okay to learn more. It's okay to acknowledge our level of where we are and we learn more. The number two things to do to be able to navigate uncertainty is to seek counsel. There is nothing you are doing now under the earth that somebody has not done before. And this is what amazes me most with humans. We get to a point, we want to achieve something, we are stuck. Instead of us opening out to people and interacting with people who have gone ahead of us, we tend to make it a secret. We tend to cover it up. You tend to brood on that problem as if nobody should hear this. This has not happened to anybody before. There is no new thing under the earth. You're building a business some people have built. Seek counsel from them. You are raising children. Look around for people who have raised successful children. By the way, make sure you have a definition for your success. Maybe your success is impact. Maybe your own success is legacy. Even if your own success is academic success, make sure you define it. When you define it, that's the basis of clarity. Ability to be clear. Stay clear. When you define it, you then look out for people who have the results that you want. Even if you say they did it 20 years ago and times and seasons have changed, can I tell you, principle does not change. People change, circumstances change, but there is always a principle that underscores everything that we do. For example, even though the weather have changed, agriculture has moved to using machines, big facilities and all of that. But the principle is seed and harvest time. You don't harvest what you don't plant. Okay? You might be able to adapt different method between planting and harvesting. But the principle behind it is that there is a seed time and there is an harvest time. Principle don't change. Times can change. I remember reading about COVID-19, how the US government was able to prepare. I can't remember the name of the president then, but he read the book. Somebody wrote in that book that every 100 years there is a pandemic, and that the way to come out of it is to plan ahead. Whoever that president was now, I'm not sure, I don't want to give a wrong figure. The person went ahead and based on the knowledge of what happened with pandemics. And that person was preparing for COVID, even though in his own time, the pandemic did not come to place. But they have provisions, they have system built, they have things put in place to help. So by the time it got to their own time, by the time COVID was eventually going to come up, he has left the office. Whoever took over after him did not need to start from the scratch. The person simply built on the system for which you have laid foundation on. I'll give you another example that comes closer to you. For example, there was a time, I can't remember who it was. They needed to do something. They were raising group of children. They wanted to raise children that are mission driven because they were Christians. They want to raise children that are mission driven, that are well, incorporated in a system that they are building. They value impact and legacy. They were already missionaries, but they want their children not necessarily to become pastor, but to hold true to their values. What did they do? They went to missionaries whose children are now holding their value. It doesn't make them ministers, in quotes. It doesn't make them pastors or put them on pulpit. But they want them to have a sense of service. That's the word. So what did this woman do? She went to a missionary that have the results that she want to have. And she gave her things to do. Of course, it is years apart. That woman say, this is what we do after service. After we have anything service like that, I bring them together and I explain further. I clarify what they gain in the service today and also explain further in their own level that they can understand. He said the missionary also told me that whenever a missionary is in town, they usually either welcome the missionary in their home or they make it to go and visit the missionary. Now, why it is possible that there are not so many missionaries that are traveling in our own, situations now, virtually everywhere you are now, missionaries are now rising in our environment. The process might not be the same. That's the point I'm trying to get at. But the principle does not change. Seek counsel. Look out for people who have obtained the result that you want to obtain. Go and build on their system. In fact, there's a way Jesus described it in the Bible. He said other people have labored. Enter into their labor and harvest. He said both the sower and the harvester, they will have results. He said, so people have labored. In this context, go into their labor. Go and benefit from their clarity. You don't have all the time to do trial and error. You don't have all the time to practice and practice and practice and experiment and figure out which one will work. Before you know it, time is gone. Before you know it, you have exhausted your resources, which is basically your energy, your time, people. You have overwhelmed people with trial and error. And by the time you look back, everybody is gone. Your resources is wasted. Seek counsel. That's one fast way to gain clarity. And by the time we get to coaching, you will see how coaches, how mentors help you to gain clarity because they have navigated diverse uncertainty. They've traveled through that journey. So no, they know where the valley is. They know the mountains. They know where you will probably, get stuck and want to go back. They have navigated it. Other people have labored. Enter into their harvest. Seek counsel. That's what counsel represents. And the third thing you must do to maintain clarity in the midst of uncertainty. Remember in your leadership journey, uncertainty is never going to give way. You are actually a leader because there are uncertainty and somebody needs to navigate it. So what should you do? Focus on your vision, not the plan. One thing you must be clear of from the very beginning is vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. That's it. No uncertainty. Nothing can replace vision. With your vision, who you're becoming as an individual, where you're taking your family to, if that's the group you're leading, the vision you have for your group, your community, if that's your own leadership capacity, or even the vision that what you can see changing in your sector, in your nation, if you have the capacity of a leader like that. Make sure it is clear. What is clear here? What is really, really important here? What is the vision? Who do we want to become? So you have to focus on your vision, which must be clear from the very beginning, not just the plan. Write your vision in ink and your plans in pencil because uncertainty are on the way. They will change. Your plans will change. Your plans will be challenged. Your plans will meet one obstacle or the other. But your vision should not change. Write your vision in ink. That's why the Bible in Habakkuk says, write the vision, make it plain. The journey is far, that's true. The journey is not going to be easy, absolutely understandable. The journey is going to look, uncertain. That's why you are there. Everybody is not sure of what is going to happen tomorrow, but you have seen a bigger picture of tomorrow. So you have summoned the courage to take the lead. Go with the vision in your hand. Don't let it drift off. You are going to lead based on the vision, not on the plan. The plan is allowed to change. The plan is allowed to change. Yes, write it in pencil. When you are traveling on a journey, if you have no, if you drive 1 to 2 hours from point A to point B, you will agree with me that the road is not always straight. You get to area of bend, you get to area of roundabout, you go to a place and it looks slippery. Some place look like hilly area, but you just keep navigating. You keep navigating. When you need to bend, you bend. When you need to curve, you curve. When you need to turn at the roundabout, you turn. But by all means, you keep the vision, the focus of where you're going. These are the ways to navigate uncertainty in your leadership journey, either as a self leader, navigating self leadership with the goals that you have set. Understand that there will be uncertainty. Uncertainty is here to stay. It is your responsibility to be clear enough in uncertainty. It is not your responsibility to remove uncertainty. They are not removable. They will always be there. You can't control the weather, can you? But you can navigate how to adjust to the weather. You can get things done despite a bad weather. You just navigate the best that you can do per time. Uncertainty are here to stand. It is your own responsibility as a leader to be clear all the time in the midst of uncertainty. How are you going to do that? One, by acknowledging that you don't know what you don't know. By not pretending. Don't pretend. You have no master time management. Don't pretend that you already know it. Tell yourself, I don't know it, but I will figure it out. Number two, seek counsel. Go to classes. Go and seek counsel. Some people have learned and mastered the art of time management. They are selling courses. They are selling resources. Pick it up. Go to them that sell and buy for yourself. You don't know anything about finances, but your goal this year is to be financially competent, is to be able to build your financial, status in a way that it continues to improve on. You don't know. Acknowledge that you don't know. Take a step to seek counsel and keep the vision. Keep your focus. If your focus is to gain financial independence, that's the vision. Keep it. The plan might not go the way you have planned. Maybe you have planned that you will start a second job, and that way, anything you get from that, you will be investing it. But now you have not gotten the second job. You might not even need a second job in the long run. It might just be that you need budgeting. It might need that you need to cut waste. It might need that you need to learn to say no to advertisements that are trailing. That's it. These are the 3 ways to navigate uncertainty. I hope you find value in this. If you do, please share with your friends. First, leadership is first about you. Even if you don't have a group now that you are managing, that you are leading, you want to be prepared before the opportunity arrives. Because once the opportunity arrives, it's too late to prepare. That's it. That's why the 10 virgins, they couldn't proceed. Because when the opportunity eventually arrived, when the husbandman that they have been waiting for, the groom that they have waited for, eventually arrived, it was too late to prepare. So even if you think, I'm not leading anything now, you're leading yourself. That's your first portfolio, to lead others. If you're not faithful in little, nobody will commit a territory into your hands. If you cannot manage 1-2 talents, nobody will give you an empire to manage. I'm rooting for you in your journey of 2026. I hope you learn the principle of clarity. Understand that you need to be clear at every point in time. No, you don't have to have the answer all the time, but you have to acknowledge what you know, what you need to know. You have to seek counsel. Other people have labored. Enter into their labor so that the sower and the harvester, they can both reap good results. And funny enough, people who have gone ahead of us, they are always ready. They are always ready to give us things. But sometimes it looks like the young leaders will like to brood on things and think, I'm creating what nobody have created yet. It's a lie. There is no new thing under the earth. Whatever you're creating now, somebody have created it before. I hope you find courage. I hope you find clarity. I also hope you are impactful as you journey in 2026. Thank you for joining me today on the Come Your Way next week, Monday. My name is Funke Olaonipekun. Don't forget to master the 5 principles of leadership. Bye, and I'll see you later.